Hey, church, welcome to another small group Sunday. I can't express enough my appreciation to those folks who are passionate about growing together as disciples into the fullness of Jesus Christ. And I pray that today's time together is a blessing to you as we focus on growing in our love for God. Now, today's scripture reading takes us into the foundation of our life as the people of God. And this expert in the law comes to Jesus and lays out all the commandments like a magician spreads out a deck of cards. Pick a card, Jesus, pick a card. And Jesus picks a card. He picks the Shema from Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 6, the prayer that's at the heart of Jewish life and identity. But then he picks another card. As the magician is folding away the cards and getting ready to do his trick, Jesus says, "Nope, not yet," and picks another one from Leviticus 19 this time. On these two commandments hang all the law and prophets, he says, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself, he says. But you picked two cards, Jesus. You ruined my trick. Yes, he did. Because Jesus is up to deadly serious business. He's not playing their games. He's using their games as an opportunity to try and rescue their hearts. Now, in our 21st century minds, though, we see this as like a checklist. Like to love God, check, and then love your neighbor, check. Two separate things, like, wash the car and pick up the groceries on a to-do list. But that's not how it's meant to work. And we can tell this from the life of Jesus in the Gospels. You see, this test about which is the greatest commandment was not uncommon among rabbis of Jesus' day and into the future. Once the people of God recognized that our greatest obligation is to love God, the obvious question is, how do we operationalize the first commandment? How do we express our love for God? How do we act on that? And in the first century, not all the teachers agreed on the answer to that question. There were two great rabbis among the early Pharisees. There was Hillel and Shammai. And Hillel and Shammai disagreed at precisely this point. Jesus agrees with Hillel that we love God by loving our neighbor. For Hillel's camp, the key question was, and who is my neighbor? Who do I have to love in order to love God? And Jesus addresses that in Luke chapter 10. But Shammai argued that the second great commandment, the way that we express our love for God, the key way that operationalizes the rest of the commandments, is to keep the Sabbath holy. Shammai believed we were supposed to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength by keeping Sabbath holy. And all of Jesus' confrontations with Pharisees regarding the Sabbath, and there are a lot of them, come out of this question. How do the people of God express our love for God? And as you work through today's discussion questions together, remember that all of this matters because love, in the Christian sense at least, is something you do as well as something you feel. What are we doing to strengthen our love for God? And what are we doing to operationalize our love for God into something tangible, meaningful, and transformative? God bless you. God bless our time together. And I appreciate y'all so much.